On this episode of MythBusters,
will steel-toed boots cut your toes off?
Adam and Jamie take on a tall tale of shoe shearing.
Oh, man.
And will Carrie take wing?
I'm a piñata!
As a Japanese myth takes off in Bottle Rocket Blast-Off. Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
Ants are all over my head, man.
Jamie Hyneman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
Tori Bellecci.
Whoa.
Carrie Byron.
That was crazy!
And Grant Imahara.
Go get him, boy.
Between them, over 50 years of special effects experience.
Go!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Well, this one actually comes out of our own industry, Jamie, and I've got some friends who I really wish were more skeptical than they are, because they hold to this idea.
You mean the myth that steel-toed boots are actually more dangerous than regular boots?
For decades, safety campaigners have called for protective footgear at work.
Suddenly, the worst happens.
But some workers won't believe the hype.
They have this idea that if there's an industrial accident where a huge weight falls on your foot, that a steel cap boot will actually curl in and crush and cut off your toes, whereas if you weren't wearing steel-tip boots, you'd still have your toes.
So, steel boot caps, guardian toe angels, or serial toe slicers. To test the myth, Adam and Jamie are going to try to turn a steel toe cap into a guillotine.
So what's the plan?
Well, as we always do, the plan's got two parts. The first part is to duplicate the testing rig that they use to give these shoes their rating. The second is to amp up that testing rig with weight or whatever we need to do to duplicate the toe amputating circumstance.
What they need is a mobile safety shoe truck. Hey, here's one. Inside, it's floor-to-ceiling industrial footwear. Imelda Marcos shoe closet, MythBusters style.
This is great. This is actually a steel cap.
That's a steel toe cap. That's exactly what that is. Now, I also have a titanium, too.
And Karen's also got fiberglass toe caps and steel-toed tennis shoes.
Steel-toed sneakers?
Yeah. Everything here has some type of protective toe.
But Karen confesses that some customers do live in fear of the steel toe cutter.
If they were wearing steel toe, if something heavy enough fell on it, that it would just cut their toes off completely, rather than if they weren't wearing it, then their toes would be protected, which of course sounds absurd to me.
I apologize in advance for my foot odor.
With Karen wondering how quickly she can get the truck fumigated, Adam shakes his booty back to base.
Can someone open the door for me?
Jamie gets down to what he does best, build stuff that breaks stuff.
Basically what I'm going to be building is a large guillotine, except we're not going to have an axe on the end of it that chops something off. It's going to crush something.
The shockload rig is almost complete. Adam, confident in his steel caps, tries it out.
There you go.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure how much farther I want to go.
Albeit with the rig minimum of 25 pounds.
That's cool. Dude, it's a guillotine.
Come on, you big baby.
No.
Adam, we can't see inside these shoes when they're being tested. How are we going to know what our results are? I mean, I'm not putting my feet in there. I don't know about you.
No, I'm definitely not. Well, I've actually got an idea about that, and it comes out of a technology used for testing the effects of landmines. Mine's a little bit different. It's called a frangible foot, and it uses mostly our old friend ballistics gel.
To get a smooth mold, Adam once again shaves for the show.
This is a two-stage process. The first stage, I'll be slathering what's called dental alginate over my leg, and it's what the dentists use to cast your teeth.
For support, the alginate mold is covered with several layers of plaster bandages, which, after hardening, can be cut and removed.
Whew. Nicely done.
Next, he fills the mold with a silicon-based rubber.
Is it leaking over the side?
Oh!
Despite the spills, he's thrilled with the results.
Mungo is happy.
Stage 2. Adam makes a plaster mother mold and takes a cast of his silicon foot.
Oh, it looks good. Look at that foot there. Look at the foot.
But so far, he's only gone skin deep. To get right down to the bone, Adam tries out chicken legs and bamboo for their similarity to human bones.
All of a sudden, I'm not sure I like bamboo.
His tests show that neither is a match. So he goes for a fiberglass alternative.
These are real human feet, and our ultimate goal is to make castings of these in a material that matches the bone exactly.
Stage 3, Adam casts a mold of the skeletal feet
That one's done.
and mixes a hard resin cocktail. When set, it's a perfect substitute for real bone.
Oh, yeah.
Hot glue for tendons, and the surrogate skeleton is complete. Stage 4 puts flesh on the bones. Adam uses a new ballistics material, which he pours over the skeleton in his plaster leg mold.
I'm actually really pleased with this. I think this is the state-of-the-art for MythBusters and flesh limb analogs for testing damage. There have been a ton of experiments we've done where we've kneaded bodies and skeletons and things of different types.
How you doing there, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, you're doing so good. We're gonna shoot you.
This is the best we've ever gotten in terms of something that'll really show us what happens when this accident occurs.
Meanwhile, Jamie has applied the finishing touches to his toe torturer, and they're ready to start testing.
All the shoes that we're testing are the highest rated safety boots you can get, and that's called the ANSI 75 rating.
The plan is to systematically increase the height and the weight of the things that are dropped on the shoe, probably until the shoe starts to crunch.
Beyond that, we've got our MythBusters Frangible legs, which should tell us the extent and severity of any injury that gets sustained. I still don't think that we're going to get any cut-off toes.
Now we officially have a dangerous thing, so let's be careful around it.
Wow, that feels really weird. Feel that. How come you don't wear steel-toed boots, Jamie?
I generally try not to drop things on my feet. Safety pin is out.
First up on the chopping block, steel cap boot. 75 pounds from 3 feet.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well, there you go.
Well, there it is. I see a little distension in the leather here, but there doesn't seem to be any deformation at all.
Could be some variations. It looks like it may have mashed it just a hair, but not enough to hurt. May just be the leather flattening out itself.
That's an ANSI 75 rating at the official test height and weight. Big deal. Let's ramp it up. The impending toe-mageddon has got Adam excited.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Just stand over there.
The drop rig is now a toe-trembling 400 pounds.
In 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. These are resilient shoes.
Even at the rig's maximum weight, the steel cap doesn't look to have been squashed flat.
It's like stealing a dead guy's shoes. You haven't done that since the war, have you, Jamie?
Which war?
I do have a broken metatarsal here.
Yeah, but they look like they might still be attached to your body.
Oh yeah, they would. But that's 400 pounds from 3 feet. What do you think? We ought to go to, let's go to 6 feet now. I want to see some toes cut off or crushed beyond all recognition. 3, 2, 1.
Well, it sort of removed itself there. As flat as a pancake. Wow.
Dr. Hyneman performs a boot autopsy. And the toe's in bad shape, but it's still in one piece.
We've got a break in the first metatarsal. We had a break in the second metatarsal. So there's your steel toe. That's a pretty serious deformation, but it still ain't a toe cutting deformation.
No amputation, no celebration. The myth of the steel toe cap toe slicer is looking shaky.
The myth that we're about to do came as a result of an email that someone sent me from a clip from a Japanese game show.
Oh, yeah, the one where he's got the soda bottle strapped to his back full of water and like a bicycle pump full of air, and he takes off like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet or something like that. Well, who's gonna be stupid enough to strap this thing to their ass?
Well, I think that would be Carrie, not because she's stupid, which we know she's not, but because she's lighter than you or I.
I've seen that clip. I've seen it. I think that one's faked. There's got to be a cable involved somewhere.
Well, you're gonna find out.
So can the Mythbusters launch someone 40 yards on a ballistic trajectory with a bottle rocket jetpack using just water for fuel? First, they need to build a prototype, and Grant's found a recipe on the internet.
Our bottle rocket's going to be composed of a plastic soda bottle, a bike pump to provide air pressure, a rubber stopper, and some plumbing bits from the hardware store.
It's all hands to the pump, and when Tori adds a pointy bit, they've got themselves a rocket. Kind of thing.
Looks pretty cool. For like a 2-second job.
Let's do it.
All right.
Outside, they add the power system. Water and pressurized air.
Starting to get a little pressure.
Excellent. It won't be long now.
I don't think I can hold on to it much longer.
Really?
I don't know, it's starting to lift.
Okay, put it down. Put it down on the ground.
All right.
Oh, where did it go? I guess it works.
Well, I guess we know it works.
Turns out being a rocket scientist isn't so hard after all.
Hey, I got it.
Okay, pay attention at the back. Bottle rockets are a perfect illustration of Newton's third law. The air inside is pressurized. When the rubber stopper is released, air and water rush down through the nozzle, thrusting the bottle up with an equal and opposite force. The guys have their proof of concept, so now the fine-tuning.
I could do this all day. See, science is fun.
So, knowing that bottle rocketry is actually very popular, what is the current world record for altitude?
The current world record is 517 meters set by U.S. water rockets, and it was set by a device called the X-10, which is shrouded in secrecy.
All of the specs we have in it are based on guesstimates from looking at photos and video, but it seems to be not a soda bottle, but actually an 8-foot tube of fluorescent light protective covering polycarbonate wrapped in high-strength composite and powered solely by tap water and air pressure.
May 2005, Galway, New York State. The U.S. Water Rockets team sets a new world record as its X-10 rocket reaches 1,696 feet before parachuting back to Earth. Back at HQ, Grant is making a splash, perfecting the Mythbusters bottle rocket. They're looking for the water-to-air ratio that gives maximum thrust.
Excellent.
Look at you.
Several dry runs later, they conclude that 1/3 water, 2/3 air is right on the money.
I'm really excited. I think these tests went extremely well. I mean, we found the butter zone. About 1/3 full is exactly what we need.
Now they want some payload data.
So what we want to know now is how high a 3-liter bottle can launch this 2-kilogram payload.
20 PSI? 40 PSI?
Carrie pumps as much air as she dares without bursting the bottle.
Okay, we're at 60 PSI.
Okay, stand by.
3, 2, 1. Ow! That's really stiff. This might be a two-hander. In 3, 2, 1. Woo, that's awesome. That means we got 2 kilograms, 20 feet. That's a nice, easy round calculation.
At 60 PSI, they'll need 28 3-liter bottles just to get Carrie off the ground, let alone propel her 40 yards. Time to supersize.
All right, this jug is 18.93 liters. I'm gonna fill it 1/3 full with water.
If the soda bottles fail to get Carrie airborne, this could be Plan B.
Okay.
Okay, 2 kilogram load.
I have to say I'm a little bit frightened.
Be afraid, be very afraid.
Oh, it's getting crazy. We're gonna have to launch it.
All right.
Stand back. We're gonna have to do it. 3, 2, 1.
Holy crap, run!
Run!
Now that's what I call a water cooler moment.
That was a good launch. I went up about, I'd have to guess,
How about 50, 60 feet?
had to be about 50, 60 feet in the air.
There was plenty of thrust, but for our would-be astronaut,
1.
not exactly reassuring.
I have to say it was extremely scary because this is very pointy, this is very heavy. It went really high in the air, and for some reason it headed right for the cameraman and the sound woman.
Run! Run!
And he started running one way, and she started running the other way, and everybody going, ah!
In the myth of the steel-capped toe cutters, the boys have given Adam's frangible foot a 400-pound stubbing. The steel toe cap was severely dented, but not crushed completely flat. Now, they're going to leave the toe cap out of the equation.
Because the myth involves steel-toed boots causing you more harm than they might actually protect you in an accident, we'd like to show what would happen if you weren't wearing steel-toed boots at all. 75 pounds, 3 feet, non-steel-toed boot.
But the results suggest that the guys have tripped over their own foot.
Okay, I think we've got a problem here. Our new ballistics material, unlike the gelatin, it doesn't break or shatter under that kind of load. It tends to bounce back. I mean, it matches the density of flesh, but perhaps not the behavior as much as we'd like.
The springy consistency is preventing a realistic record of impact damage. The boot's on the wrong foot, so they decide to start from scratch with good old Plan B, which is
Take the toe of the boot, put a cylinder of clay in there, and see how much tension there is from the weight dropping on the boot. It's like the aftermath of a shot from like a samurai film, like,
their new method is borrowed from ANSI, the American National Standards Institute. For decades, men with beards and white coats have been crushing toes for science.
It's easy to see what this impact would do to the unprotected foot, as represented by this foam wax form. A foot subjected to such a blow without protection is literally exploded.
All right, so this is 75 pounds from 3 feet, ANSI test with steel-toed boot. And 3, 2, 1. It's funny, when you read the literature about the ANSI testing, they say that in order for the boot to be rated, at the total compression, there can't be less than ½ an inch.
Which is what it is.
So the steel caps pass the ANSI shock load criteria. Now for the all-important control test with no toe cap.
2, 1. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, let's see. Oh, dude. I believe the compression in the clay is what we'd call total.
Looks a little different than what we were seeing from the ballistics gel.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's just instantaneous.
Damning evidence, and the steel cap conspiracy could soon be getting the boot.
You know, but we still have not seen the phenomenon in the steel cap that duplicates that mythical toe-cutting action.
Well, there's another type of a rig that simply crushes hydraulically, and we can also measure the pressures involved when that happens.
Jamie begins with a shop-bought arbor press. While he grapples with the assembly, Adam imagines Christmas Eve at the Hyneman household.
I can totally see your wife up all night, you know, like with the thing down in the basement. Don't come down, honey. Look, honey, I got you a log splitter. Oh, honey, I'm touched. Thank you, honey.
Jamie adds a pressure gauge and car jack, and soon he's got a compression test rig, which gets Adam thinking.
Jamie, just as a point of comparison, so we can know what a pain threshold is versus a bone-breaking threshold, will you put your own foot into the shear rig?
If I do it, you've got to do double that weight with your steel caps on.
How about this? If you can withstand it until it starts to register on the needle, I'll give you 20 bucks. All right. Pain threshold, test number 1.
Okay, are we ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow, it's already sitting at 100 pounds.
That's because I was pushing down on it.
You were getting your reading by pushing down on the gauge? You cheating bastard.
But Adam has the last laugh.
I'm gonna go for the metatarsal protection.
Laced up like Frankenstein's monster,
Oh, yeah.
Adam steps forward with confident tread.
1,200.
It's seriously squeezing my foot.
15.
God. Okay, that's it.
That was 1,600 pounds.
Which just goes to prove absolutely nothing at all. The guys want to compare the failure point of boots with and without steel toe caps. First in the mangle, the steel-toed variety.
5,000. 6,000. Come on, keep going.
Have we lost our toes yet?
Let it go and see. Ooh, sorry.
That doesn't look very comfortable.
No, that doesn't. That looks like we've lost our toes.
So, 6,000 pounds of pressure on your tootsies, and you'll be changing shoe size for good. Now for a regular boot.
Can you say flat as a pancake?
With no steel cap, it crushes so quickly that Adam can barely get a reading. But total failure occurs at around 1,200 pounds.
Oh, it's like a clay extrusion mold. I don't know about you, but that seems like pretty crushed toes to me.
So, steel toe caps provide 5 times more protection than regular boots. So, this myth is looking as flat as a pancake. You know, a load of crepe. In the myth of the bottle rocket, Tori, Grant, and Carrie have been conducting rigorous scientific experiments.
Holy crap! Run!
Run! Run!
To see if soda bottles, air, and water could launch a human 40 yards.
The translation.
At ground control, Grant's received a translation of the Japanese game show that featured the alleged bottle rocket.
It's kind of scary.
It appears that they used just 15 bottles for blastoff, way less than the 28 at 60 psi their own tests showed they'd need.
I guess that's what we're gonna shoot for.
The only solution is to try and force the pressure in each bottle way up, over 60 psi.
Pressure is the only thing that they don't specify in the video, which means one more test. We need to find out how much pressure a 3-liter soda bottle can take.
Faster, Grant. Faster.
I'm pumping as fast as I can!
The myth specifies using a bike pump.
Whoa.
And between them, they managed to boost the pressure inside the bottle to 95 psi. But if Carrie's going to strap 15 of these to her back, she's keen to know at what point they'll become plastic bombs.
But we need to know, when is it gonna blow? So I've got this rig I've taken out of my combat robot, and I can provide higher pressure air than we can get here in the shop.
Grant spent years perfecting the design of Deadblow, his title-fighting battle bot. In 2000, his creation beat all comers to reach the final of the hit television show BattleBots.
These home-built robots would fight it out gladiator style.
It's designed to pierce the armor of its opponents with a pneumatically powered titanium arm.
It just gets on the other robots and pounds them mercilessly until they submit.
Now, Grant plans to use that pneumatic power to test the limits of their soda bottles. Safely behind the blast shield, Grant applies the pressure.
140! 145! 150! I guess about 150 is the limit. 150 PSI, definitely not safe. I think we're gonna stick to the 95 we got with the bike pump.
While Carrie and Grant are limited to the myth's bicycle pump primed 15-bottle rig, Tori looks into Plan B. For that, he's thinking big. 9 water coolers big.
So the first thing I gotta do is find out how much air pressure one of these bad boys will take. Ooh, 8 more. I gotta go to the bathroom. This is a game called Guess What I Had for Lunch.
You know, that's real material.
On a serious note, safety concerns mean they need to repeat the failure pressure test on a water cooler bottle.
And then that way, no one gets hurt.
75, 80, 85, 90.
Wow! Wow! Fire in the hole.
Just goes to show size isn't everything. The big bottles fail at 90 psi. 60 psi less than the soda bottles.
90.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. We should have warned our neighbors. Sorry about that.
Plan B won't be involving water coolers. Not unless Carrie's shrapnel insurance is up to date. So back to Plan A, 15 soda bottles and a bicycle pump.
We know that there are 15 bottles in the rig that they used in the film because we have a translation. So we're gonna take 1/15 of my weight, strap it to a 3-liter bottle, bring it up to 90 psi, and see how high we can get.
If one bottle can lift 1/15 of Carrie's weight, they're in business.
3, 2, 1. Wow, well, that went exactly to the top of the scale. That means we've got exactly 16 feet, and that's not metric. So let me do some conversions really fast, and it's really high. We'll come back to that. This 3-liter bottle at 90 psi lifted 3.5 kilograms, 490 centimeters. That's amazing, because that's 1/15 my weight. 15 bottles could possibly lift me to the top of this scale. And I can't wait to tell the boys, because we all kind of, it's probably faked. Maybe not.
Encouraged by the test runs, Carrie and Grant get down to the real thing. Their job, the 15-bottle rig as specified in the game show clip.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready to fly?
That's gonna be amazing.
And Grant's come up with a new way to pop Carrie's cork.
Put the bottle on like that. Cable ties click around this lip. And then you slide the ring up to secure it. It's locked now. Cable ties are holding it on. When you want to launch, pull the ring down, and that'll release the bottle straight up. Simple.
So with the design stage approved, mass production can begin at MASA, the MythBusters Aeronautical and Space Administration. The bottles will be filled with air via bicycle inner tube valves, which are glued into place in rubber stoppers. So air will get in, but not out. They carefully assemble 15 cable tie quick release systems, which they secure in a plywood housing. The PVC collars are fixed to a trigger plate and placed over the quick release platform to complete the rig.
That is so awesome.
Looks good, but can it walk the walk?
Oh, yeah. That is gonna rock. Except for the gluing part, if it comes out, that part would probably suck, but the rest of it is gonna rock totally.
Next, our rocket scientists have to come up with a remote mechanism to retract the trigger plate and launch the rocket.
What we've got is all the trigger rings are connected to a plate. And the plate is going to be pulled by one of these. This is a pneumatic actuator. It's air-powered. If I put air in here, pushing the diaphragm down, it's just going to pull the plate and pop all 15 trigger valves at once.
Perfect. Meanwhile, Tori is on a separate mission to get Carrie in the air by any means necessary.
Here at MythBusters, we have mandatory drug testing to ensure the safety of all our employees.
And I pass every time.
Tori is also going with a cable tie quick release system. But that's where the similarity ends. According to his calculations, he needs not 15, but 50 bottles to replicate the parameters of the game show flight.
Since I'm not restricted by the myth, I'm not going to be using bicycle pump to fill this thing up with air. So I'm going to go ahead and use PVC pipe. I'm going to use compressed air, and then I'll just plumb the whole thing together. So it'll be a big pipe system underneath the rig.
While Tori builds his behemoth, out in the parking lot, Carrie and Grant are preparing their official bottle rocket for a test launch. They fill their 3-liter rockets with 1 liter of water, then lock and load.
Oh, yeah. It's almost there.
Nervous much?
Yeah.
And for good reason, as their plans suddenly spring a leak. Or to be more precise, 15 leaks.
Turns out that our valves, once they're screwed in, we didn't think about the fact that that is just going to turn it into a little hose. And all of our water is just dripping out like rain.
Before they take the rig apart, they run a quick test of the pneumatic trigger.
At least something works.
Which is more than Tori can say for his rig.
I don't know if this is going to work.
He's been delayed by ill-fitting stoppers, which have left him short on time and low on morale.
I know it's, you know, on the show we always say failure is always an option, but let's face it, who wants to fail?
While Tori derails, Grant and Carrie are back on track.
Here's the new solution. Hose barb on either end of a ball valve. When we want to pressure up, we open it, pump it up, and when we're done, we close it. No water leaking, no air leaking.
Sounds good. Grant gives each bottle rocket a ball valve, and launch is just 1 step away.
Okay, that should do it.
All that's left is for Carrie to put her shoulder to the pump.
Bottle 3, I'm already getting tired.
A dozen later, and she's just enough strength left to open the valve for launch.
Ready to go? In 3, 2, 1. Woo! Well, at least we know it works. Final test run? Obviously a complete success, a little scary. All right, so lesson number 1, tape the bottles better.
The rocket's maiden voyage was also its last, leaving our maiden rocketeer in 2 minds about launch day.
This could be pretty dangerous, so I think maybe I'm gonna shoot the simulate off first and see how it reacts and make sure I'm not gonna, you know, break my neck.
Despite her misgivings, Carrie remains the designated pilot, and Grant needs to measure her up.
Like that?
Not for a coffin, but for a launch gantry. According to the game show clip, the angle for a bottle rocket launch is 60 degrees.
Just about perfect. That's it. That's just like the video.
Next, Carrie tests out various harness options for the bottle rocket backpack.
Wow, the miracle of flight.
What the hell are you guys doing?
I'm a piñata!
One way or another, the guys are determined to get Carrie airborne. Tori's had a problem with the stopper design on his 50-bottle rig, but he's worked through the night and he thinks he's got it licked.
There was another design that we found on the internet, and it was basically taking a PVC coupler, cutting a groove in it, and slipping an O-ring over it. And then the bottle slips over that, and it gives us a great seal. I mean, it's like a perfect seal.
After burning the midnight oil, it's a champagne moment for Tori.
3, 2, 1.
I think it works. Hey, that worked.
But on the eve of launch day, this rocket scientist has grave concerns.
Are we gonna get Carrie in the air? I don't know if she's gonna really wanna do this. I saw the 15 bottles launch yesterday, and it's pretty frightening. 50 bottles, I don't know, she might get hurt.
The myth that steel toe cap boots are more dangerous than regular boots is sinking fast.
I don't know about you, but that seems like pretty crushed toes to me.
But the boys won't be happy until some toes get the chop. So they turn to the shear attachment, or, as it's affectionately known, the blade.
Oh, there's one, 500. Oh, there's one, 600. Oh, yuck. Oh!
You had enough yet?
Yeah, stop. Okay, we're at 1400 and we're pretty much cut all the bar is flat against the bottom.
So here's some handy facts. 750 pounds will break every bone in your toes. 1,400 pounds, and you won't have any toes left to break.
Oh, that's yummy.
Meanwhile, the MythBusters research department has made a surprising discovery.
Well, you know, as often is the case on MythBusters, we've uncovered some information that actually lends a little credence to this concern about amputation involved with steel-tipped shoes.
Absolutely. It was really difficult to find this piece of information, but we did turn up a case in 2002 in Australia of a man who had an accident involving his steel-toed boots. He was working near a forklift that was loading some pipe, and one of the pipes fell off the forklift onto his steel-toed boot, and he lost the third toe on his right foot.
So, just when it seemed out for the count, this myth staggers to its feet for one final round. To deliver the knockout blow, it's back to the guillotine, and this time the boys mean business. They fitted the shear attachment to simulate a worst-case industrial scenario.
So this is a danger zone now.
With the rig at maximum height and weight, this will be the ultimate test of a steel-capped boot.
In 3, 2, 1. Dude! Oh, it slid right off the steel because it landed right where I placed it, but it slid off the steel toe and sliced the entire shoe in half. Does that mean that because of the steel toe, you're actually going to lose slightly more of your toes?
But it's not the steel toe that's actually cutting your foot off. It's just providing like a ramp.
It's an intriguing result, which prompts a second take.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well,
did that also glance off the steel toe?
That did exactly that. And,
even though we put it way farther out.
Yeah, we couldn't have really placed it any differently. This is probably the closest thing that we've seen to the circumstances that the myths say where it could well have been involved with amputating the toes.
I'm really glad we took this as far as we did. We finally did get an amputation, and we showed that if you're wearing steel-toed boots, there is a circumstance under which you can lose your toes. Of course, it involves dropping massive amounts of weights with a tiny blade at the end on them.
Yeah, nevertheless, I mean, given the same set of circumstances, you will always have more damage to your feet if you're not wearing steel tips than if you are wearing them. It's just across the board.
Absolutely. This myth is busted completely.
It's launch day for the myth of the bottle rocket. And Grant and Carrie arrive at their very own Cape Canaveral, Pier 50, San Francisco.
The day has finally come for the launching. I have to say I have a few butterflies in my stomach. Oh my God, this is insane.
The launch profile entails splashdown in the bay, which has our bottle rocketeer asking the obvious question.
How am I gonna get out?
There's gonna be a boat and a jet ski to fish you out. I mean, to rescue you. To get you.
Joking aside, Carrie's well-being is paramount, and Simulate Jane is on hand in case the safety officers from Medics at the Movies veto launching a human. Harbor Patrol arrive with a splash.
How action movie is this?
It may look Hollywood, but any injuries sustained will be real. So Carrie is taking no chances.
I might have to launch the Simulate a few times before I can actually commit to this because it's looking somewhat dangerous.
The Simulate's knees are giving way at the prospect, so they shore her up with an aluminum frame.
It looks like a garter for a robot.
And with no time for swimming lessons, Carrie applies the final touches. As the gantry is moved into place,
yeah, it's perfect.
Tori arrives direct from the late shift and gets straight into the spirit of the occasion.
Okay, what can I get you? Gin and tonic, what do you want? Vodka cranberry? You got it.
When Tori's finished fueling, it's time to assemble the rocket. First, load the 15 motors onto the release platform.
All right, that's it.
And secure them tightly.
Don't be shy. I got lots of tape.
Beef up the safety measures and install the pilot. Mount the bottle rocket on the launch pad.
Yep. Good. Beauty.
And have a joke at Carrie's expense.
Eventually, another dummy's gonna get in there. No, I'm kidding. Come on, I'm joking. Carrie's too nervous. No more joking. Let's grim up.
And finally, prime the engines.
Can you believe you have to do these one by one?
How many more to go, Imahara?
4.
I'm glad that there's 4 more because I just didn't want this to be over yet.
Everything's set for launch. So inevitably, the rocket springs a leak.
Okay, Carrie, pressure in the middle now.
Putting all I can on it.
This is the one that's hemorrhaging.
I know, there's nothing more I can do.
While the ground crew make frantic repairs, Tori plays for time.
What makes
you think there's a problem? There's no problem.
Grant brings the leak under control. And it's pumped like mad to bring the last bottles up to 90 psi.
Last one. Okay, everybody get ready. This is the last one.
The distance markers are all in place. And if they're anything to go by, someone's expecting a long-haul flight.
We're about to do the 15-bottle test. I saw it launch yesterday, and it's pretty powerful.
I think it's just going to go straight out there, go out about 20 feet up, and continue on, total path about 40 feet.
It might just like swing up over her head and just like spin her into the water.
She's not going to pinwheel. I think it's just going to go straight.
This is probably more important for me than anybody else because this right here is going to tell me whether I want to get in this or not. So I'm crossing my fingers.
Grant attaches the pneumatic trigger release. It's 0 hour for Jane, the simulate.
You guys ready? We got to pull the blocks out.
Hey.
Okay. High speed ready. 3, 2, 1.
Hard to tell who flew furthest, Grant or Jane.
That was
good job, buddy. That looked great. Where'd she go?
Straight down, apparently. Something malfunctioned, and the high-speed camera should hold the answer.
It looked like it just shot right off her back.
Yeah.
There was like one tie that held on.
I guess those straps.
While the team discusses harness failure, the safety expert catalogs pilot injuries.
Anything from abrasions, lacerations, to sprains, strains, possible dislocated bones, possibly broken bones, possibly concussions. Head, neck, back injuries are always the most serious.
Well, I don't want that to happen to me, so I think we need another test with the dummy and get it right before you put me in the rig.
Absolutely.
After the trial run, the jury's still out. The bottle rocket has significant thrust. But can that force be harnessed safely? Time for another launch.
Let's go to lunch.
Jane the Simulate's maiden bottle rocket flight was less than a success.
2, 1.
Without a safe test launch, Carrie will be grounded and the myth busted.
I have a lot of doubts about the last test. I just don't know what's really going to happen, and unless we can get this to work in a way that's a little bit safer, I don't want to get on it.
The team resets, and to avoid backflips, Jane is positioned higher on the rocket. The safety harness is given careful attention. But Carrie's less than impressed with Tori's tethering.
This is supposed to be me. We cannot use this particular method on me.
I don't see why not. Looks like it's working pretty good.
Passenger comfort will come as standard on a later model.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Maybe I shouldn't stand right behind it next time.
That didn't look that bad.
That was cool.
That was just a backflip.
Just a backflip? Yeah, a rocket-assisted 20-foot-high backflip.
Oh.
That's not very ballistic.
It looks a lot of fun.
Oh my God, look, she's going for a nosedive.
That's a headshot right into the water.
Oh.
It looks a blast, but what's the official word?
After the 2 experiments I've seen, I would not let you get on that. No way.
See, Dave's pulling rank. I'm not getting on it.
You're off the hook. You're off the hook.
I didn't want to chicken out, but I did not sleep last night. I kept thinking I was gonna break my neck on this thing.
Well, I'm a little bummed, though, that we're not going to actually launch a person on it. I mean, looking at the high speed, that looked fun. It didn't look that dangerous, but, you know, I guess we're all worried about breaking necks and people getting paralyzed.
I'm really, really relieved I don't have to do it.
So, no aerial acrobatics or a trip to the chiropractor for Carrie. But what about the myth?
Well, this myth is about strapping 15 soda bottles to a person's back and having them fly in a ballistic trajectory. Based on what we've seen here, it's totally busted.
And busted on 2 counts. First, neither the height nor distance match those of the myth. And second, this rig isn't close to being safe for a human passenger.
This being MythBusters, now that the myth is busted, we need to ramp this up. So we're gonna go to Tori's 50-bottle rig.
I just finished it maybe a few hours ago. I stayed up till 2 in the morning last night trying to get it finished. So I haven't actually tested it, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm hoping. I'm very hopeful.
With Carrie off the hook, Jane's safety is now in Tori's sleep-deprived hands.
I like to call this my safety friend. This is what happens when I don't get enough sleep.
All 50 bottles are filled with 1 liter of water, then loaded onto the O-rings for a pressure test.
All right, the moment of truth.
I don't hear any hissing.
I don't either. That's a good sign.
It's a real good sign.
A word of warning, simultaneous triggering, as seen on 360 Swing Set, is a very tall order. With 50 rockets to trigger, there's plenty of scope for failure.
Right, get on.
Which, on this show, is par for the course.
This is 50 bottle blast off. You guys ready?
Ready.
Opening the valve. All right, pulling out the safety blocks. Okay.
3, 2, 1! Go!
Ah, what do we do? Well, that was great.
Wow.
Well, something happened. Didn't work exactly the way I thought it would, but hey, no one's perfect.
Did you see my trigger mechanism?
That was pretty cool.
No backflips this time, just some crash test dummy yoga. But what went wrong?
It might just be the collective, because look how...
Yeah, these guys are tight.
Okay, how you like my O-rings now?
The high-angle footage shows the rockets on the left releasing cleanly, but on the right, the O-rings hold them back. Sticky O-rings, eh? Time to put Jamie's shop motto into action. When in doubt, lubricate.
So we had 2 problems with our last launch. 1, it didn't release cleanly. We've dealt with that by lubing up. And 2, the bottom bottles filled up with water because of our angle. So what we're gonna do now is have a more flat launch. We've got our lube and we're ready to go.
Lucky last, the team has one more chance to get Jane airborne. It seems like more soda bottles should mean more thrust.
Okay, I'm pressurizing to 100. You guys ready? In 3, 2, 1! Hang on.
I wouldn't have been scared of doing that.
Yeah. Well,
it wasn't impressive, but it sure was fun. I just do not see soda bottles and water and air being any means of a jetpack whatsoever.
yeah, it seems like we should have more soda bottles would mean more thrust.
More bottles means more complications, and simultaneous release is one of our hugest problems in any experience we do.
You know, we didn't get her too high, but
I'm still happy.
I would say we can call this one busted.
And call it a day.
Yeah.
Busted. Let's get out of here.
I want to go to bed. I'm tired.